Today I'm going to be talking about substantive fairness in probation management. So it's an article from LexisNexis. As I always say, that they are my favorites when it comes to keeping abreast when it comes to the latest labor laws. As you can see, the articles, they're nice and concise if one doesn't like to read lengthy articles or unnecessarily lengthy articles. This article deals specifically about substantive fairness in dismissal. Substantive fairness means that there are substantial grounds or enough grounds to warrant a dismissal, and then procedural fairness deals with the procedure leading up to the dismissal. I see in this case that they dealt with the issue of substantive fairness, meaning there are enough grounds to dismiss the employee. So the employee was dismissed after her probation period. She was on a 3-year fixed term contract subject to a probationary period of 3 months. For those who are putting people on fixed term contracts, I would encourage as well putting a probationary clause. Let's say it's a 1-year contract, do have that probationary clause for 3 months. So this person was also on a probationary period for 3 months, but the fixed term contract was for 3 years. And then afterwards they failed to meet the required standards, and then the probation was further extended for 6 weeks, and then they still failed to meet their standards, and the employee was subsequently dismissed. She then referred the matter to the CCMA, saying that she was unfairly dismissed. So the CCMA found that there were grounds for dismissal, meaning there was enough reason to dismiss her. Her issue was also that she did not have a hearing, but it seems like the commissioner disregarded that one and proceeded to rule that the dismissal was substantively fair because the employee had grossly misrepresented herself and her capabilities in her CV. But me personally, I like to follow a probation period. Let's say I've put an employee through probation and I've managed it every month. I manage it. I have a template that I go through every month where we sit with the employee. So let's say at the end of the 3 months we find that the employee is not meeting the requirements, and we decide maybe to extend it for another 6 weeks as this person, and we still find that the employee is not competent. What I prefer to do is then to have an incapacity hearing, and then I know that there I've checked all the boxes, including the box of procedural fairness, meaning that the correct procedure was followed. I don't know what's that crackling sound. I apologize for that. I will try and figure this vlogging kit ASAP. But I also wanted to say, if you do not have a template of a fixed term contract with a probationary clause, I do have it available on my online downloadables and as part of my onboarding pack. So it's all included in my onboarding pack. So as part of my onboarding pack, I've also included a document to help you manage the probation. Like I have like prompting questions, ratings that you can use every month that you sit with an employee, and there's also spaces where the employee can say if they require additional support from the business and what kind of support do they require from the business. And just to add that there is more leniency when it comes to senior employees when it comes to their dismissal during the probationary period, unlike maybe junior employees. And also there's more leniency and it is less stringent, like the dismissal or the requirements to meet when it comes to dismissing an employee during probation. They are less stringent, unlike maybe a person that has successfully completed their probation and now they are permanent employees. So I would highly recommend managing your probation period in the correct manner. Include it in your employment contracts, have the correct documents to manage your probation, and as mentioned, I do have them as part of my onboarding pack, including the probation management policy, and also including the document that you can use and samples of employment contracts, permanent ones as well as fixed term ones. And finally, do tell me, if you are an employee where you are currently working, is the probation period actively managed, and if so, how do they manage it? Do you sit with your manager every month, or what happens? And if you are listening at this from an employer's perspective, maybe you are the employer, do tell me, do you currently manage probation, and if so, what tools are you using to manage the probation?